Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Robbins, and welcome to Life, Death, and the Space Between podcast. I'm a clinical psychologist and medium, and here we explore life, death, consciousness, and what it all means. Today I have another ghost story. This is from a listener, Barbara, and it's sort of to go along with the episode that I did on Monday about our pets. And so it's not only our loved ones that can show us that they are still with us when they cross over, but also our pets. So this is a perfect ghost story to share with you all. And here is Barbara's ghost story. A few things to talk about before we get started with today's episode. If you have not subscribed to my newsletter yet, I have some exciting things coming out in the next weeks, months. Unclear how long it's going to take me to get it together, but there will be some stuff coming out and I don't want you to miss it. So head on over to dramyrobbins.com and subscribe to my newsletter. And I also wanted to tell everybody about an amazing opportunity with IANDS. IANDS is the International Association for Near-Death Studies, and their 2020 conference is online. This year's theme is Unlocking the Healing Wisdom of NDEs, and the program is packed to the brim with fantastic speakers and experts to guide newcomers and seasoned experiencers alike through the mysterious worlds of near-death experiences, spirits, and the afterlife. This conference, again, is online via Zoom, August 14th to 16th, and you can visit iands.org for more info. That is iands.org. And many of the speakers who have been on this show in the past are also members of IANDS. It's an amazing organization that really promotes the work, so much of the work that I'm doing on this show in terms of bringing to light many people's spiritual experiences and spiritually transformative experiences. So head on over and check that out. And now to today's show. As a kid, our family always had pets, mostly cats and dogs. My parents instilled in us a love for animals. We had many along the way. I remember always looking for a stray who needed a home. I used to play in the woods behind my house for hours, exploring and making forts. And then one day, I saw 3 puppies. They looked like German shepherds. As I tried to get closer, the mom started to growl at me. I was petrified and ran home as fast as I could. In retrospect, I realized they were probably coyotes. Pets are just great companions, and whenever I feel lonely or left out, there was always a pet to make me feel unconditionally loved. When I left home and started my own family, we always had a variety of different animals. It felt so important for kids to learn the love of animals and the responsibility of taking care of them. Our local pet shop in Michigan had a dog, Rhodesian Ridgeback, named Bailey, who would greet all the customers when they came into the store. He was so friendly and gentle. At the time, we were looking to get another dog, but because of Bailey, we decided we would get that same breed. My daughter and I drove 7 hours from Michigan to West Virginia to pick out our puppy. We chose Jed. Jed was one of my favorite dogs. He was a strong Rhodesian Ridgeback with a big personality and was my protector. He would even growl at my kids when they came home from school. He wasn't mean to them, just letting them know that he was my favorite and I was his. I felt such a strong, deep emotional connection to him, and he showed his devotion of love and dependency to me especially. Jed was a big, muscular dog weighing about 100 pounds. He was healthy, we fed him good food, and took care of them the best that we could. But sadly, at age 9, he was diagnosed with a rib tumor. We considered thoracic surgery, but his front left leg would have had to be removed, and I could not do that to him and put him through all of that pain. So we tried to keep him comfortable and watched as the cancer slowly progressed. It was devastating. We all know that dogs don't have a life expectancy, but it's heartbreaking when they age and get sick, and we must say goodbye. Never knowing when is the right time to euthanize, I prayed for a sign and on a cold December day, a rainbow appeared, which is a pretty rare event. This was my signal to call the vet. Taking Jed to the vet and walking him in was probably the hardest and saddest day I ever had. My husband and I drove back home, and I sobbed uncontrollably and went straight to my bed. I just couldn't accept that Jed was in a better place. I felt so bad having to make the decision to end his life. A few hours later, my husband came in and asked if I wanted to attend Saturday evening church service. At first, I refused, but then I decided I would go. I pulled myself out of bed, went into the bathroom to take a shower, and when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't believe my eyes. There, I saw, surrounded by white clouds and in a mist, in the distance, were my parents and Jed. Jed was sitting in between my mom and dad, who passed quite a few years back. All three had big smiles on their faces. This vision was there for just a minute and then slowly faded away, but it was clear as day. This gift assured me that my parents were on the other side and that they had received Jed and were all okay and happy. I had dreamt of my mom and dad after they died, but I had never had that type of connection before. It was so amazing that they knew that I needed them to appear with Jed to help ease the pain of his death. Even though my heart was still sad and heavy, seeing them gave me so much confirmation and comfort. I have had a glimpse to the other side. I confidently know that when we die, our loved ones and all of our pets will be waiting for us there to greet us. It takes away the fear of death so that our lives here on earth are enriched. Knowing that our loved ones are still close by and involved in our life assures us that the bond of love is never broken. Thank you, Barbara, so much for your beautiful story today. And I think for those of us who have lost pets before, we can certainly say that it speaks to a part of our hearts that is just so vulnerable. And there's certainly something about the relationship between a human and an animal that is very, very special. And hopefully you all are getting signs from your loved ones, your animals, whoever it is that has crossed over for you. And if you do have a ghost story to share, I'd love to have it on my show. So please send me an email at dramyrobbins.com with your story. If you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, you can do that at dramyrobbins.com as well. Sorry, it's dramyrobbins@gmail for emailing me ghost stories. And also subscribe to my podcast. Come follow me on Instagram, where I've been doing a lot more engagement around helping you all continue to build your connection, your intuition, and your ability to open up to have experiences just like Barbara did. So thank you, and you'll hear from me again Thursday. Like what you heard today and want to hear more? Wondering what comes next and what it all means? Head over to Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere you get your podcasts and hit subscribe. Also, if you could take a minute to rate and review my podcast, I would really appreciate it. Stay tuned as we continue to explore life, death, and the space between.